Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you all are doing amazing. So, in the last video, we talked about what is DI, what is IOC container, and all those stuff. And we saw one example like how you can implement the DI in your application. Okay, so in this particular video, we'll talk about the life cycles of the services. Okay, before proceeding with the life cycle, if you have any doubt or anything you want to ask me on the last video, so drop a comment here, or it would be great if you comment it down on the last video, so it will be more clear to me to respond there. So if you have anything, please make a comment, drop a comment into that video. I observed that you guys don't post any comment on the videos, so please drop a comment if you find the videos useful or not, whatever. Okay, so in this particular video we'll talk about the life cycle of the services, like in C sharp or in the DI container. The life cycle of the services is defines how and when the instances of the services are created and managed. So let's move to the screen and see how these like your services, what are the how life cycle of services behaves differently and how it is managed inside your DI container. So in this video we'll talk about life cycle of services. So as I told you, it basically defines how and when instances of the services are created and managed. So there are most commonly three approaches to register the services in your DI container, and those are your the first one I can say your singleton, and the second one I can say your transient, and the sorry, this is second one, and third one is your scope. These all behaves differently as per the requirement or the use case. So what is in the singleton? So in singleton, only the one instance of the service is created and shared across the entire application lifetime. You will only create the one instance of your service. Okay. So what does that mean? So suppose, mm, have you remember yesterday we were talking about these IOC container. Okay. So suppose I requested here for the controller. Okay, so it will check, does it have anything for the controller? No, it will go and create one instance of the controller. And let me tell you, the default registration of your controller is transient. The default nature is transient of the controllers. Okay, so now, do you remember yesterday we were talking about the email service? Okay, so here, like you requested for controller, it will go and create the brand new instance of your controller. Okay, so suppose yesterday we were just registering our email service as an singleton. Okay, all right. So suppose we registered our email service as in singleton. So singleton, I told you that throughout the entire application, it will use the same instance. It will not create each time. Okay. So whenever it will make a request, it will create one instance of this because controller has a dependency of email service. It will create and it will return here. So whenever you will make any second, third, fourth up to any request throughout your application, it will return the same instance. It will not create new. Like in the case of controller, it is creating new because that's the behavior of transient. We'll come to that. So second is our transient. What is transient? Transient means whenever you will request, it will create a brand new instance of that service. So like here singleton, whenever you were making a request, it will instead except of first time it was returning the same instance. But in the case of transient, whenever you will make a request, it will respond you back with the new instance, not the not the one it stores. Each time when you will request to the controller, it will go in your IOC container and it will do some internal search, blah blah blah, whatever. It will see it has controller, it will create a new brand new instance for your controller. It is transient and it will go to email. So if it has transient, it will create each time new object and return you a new email service. And third was in your scope. Scope is like you share the same instance throughout your request. For the one request, you use the same instance. Okay, so let's see these all with the help of examples. These are my okay. If you are not getting this, have some patience. It will be cleared in few minutes when we will write the code of this. Okay, so let's write code and see how these are actually working inside your DI container. So just remember these are the three life cycles we use for registering our services, like singleton, transient and scope. This is transient. Okay. If you are getting something here, so just ignore. This is transient. Okay. So let's see with the help of code. Okay, so let's move to our computer screen. So yesterday we were working on this project. So yesterday I made a mistake in this project, but that was not related to, that was not causing any error, but there was some typo. If you found that or if you observed that, please drop a comment into that video. Although I have fixed that, but that was not creating an issue. Let me make this scope based so it will be more clear to us. It will, yeah. And can I use this up? Yeah. Now this is for your registering your dependencies, and same I would like to do here, like scope based, move this one step up. Perfect. Now this is for our HTTP request pipeline and this is for our registering our services. So I was talking about this singleton. Okay. So let's see what we have in our email service. We are responding sent. So let me check this if it is working or not. Yep, it's built or it's running. Let me send a request. So like we were talking about, in the case of singleton, each time we will get the same instance, but it will be clear to you. Let me make it more sensible here. Instead of returning this, suppose I am, let me create not random, read only string called email, and here let me define a range of 10 and make it to string. Instead of this, let me return our email. Okay, so what it will do, it will just suppose it will generate some random numbers and convert it into the string. So I just would like to show you how this singleton and transient works, how these all works or behave differently. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, so let me go here. So if you observe here, we are getting the 7 each time because we registered our service as a singleton. But what if I changed this to transient? Because a few minutes back we studied that in the case of transient, each time a new request is created for your service and you will get the brand new instance and the response from that. So, yep, we are getting, whenever we are making a request, we are getting a brand new instance. So how this is working, let me show you. Let's go to scalable.com. Okay, so just understand a scenario. Sorry. So suppose this is our mm, IOC container. Perfect. This is responsible for creating and managing all the dependencies and services and all. Okay. So when we make a request here, like I asked for the controller. Perfect. It will check, do some internal search. This is for the first time. It doesn't have anything. Okay, it will go here and create one brand new controller. And what is the default life cycle for the controller? I told you when I was explaining the transient. It's transient. Cool. It will go here through, it will check, it will create one brand new controller. Okay. So after that, it checks the controller has a dependency of email service. Cool. We have email service dependency. This is nothing, the code we have written here. I'm just explaining that with the help of that diagram. Like in the email controller, we have dependency of email service. Perfect. So far, so good. So, how we registered our email service as a transient? Let me write here as a transient. Perfect. It will go here and create one brand new instance here and it will return here. Now, whatever type we ask, like we made a request for the controller. Okay. So now, whenever you will make a request to the controller, each time your IOC container will create a brand new controller for the each request. Okay. Because it is registered as a transient. It's a default nature in your C#. Okay. So we also have registered our email service as transient. So whenever it is asking or checking for the email service, that your IOC container will create a brand new instance for your email service as well, because its nature is transient. So that's why each time whenever you are running or making a request, you are getting a new number. But did you remember that when we registered this as a singleton, we were getting the same instance. We were not getting the anything new. Like if I registered this as a singleton, so each time we were getting the one instance, the same number. Let me verify. Yeah, we are getting 3 because if we are injecting this as a singleton, so first time it will create that object and it return the number 3. And whenever anyone is making a call, like your IOC, it's checking that I have already instantiated this email service and it will directly return 3. It will not create or instantiate each time. Okay, cool. So far so good. Okay, let me show you one more scenario here. So what if I want this, I want to return this email from a method. Let me create one quickly. Let me write here get email and just return. Let me return this. Perfect. And let me comment it down this. And here I'll call get email. Perfect. So a few minutes back or few seconds back, sorry, a few seconds back, we saw that in the case of singleton, we are only getting the one instance, the same response. But in the case of transient, each time it is creating a new request, new instantiating a new service, and we are getting the different response. Perfect. So what would be the output if I make a request this time? Just see. Where is our email service? Here. We have registered this as a singleton. So ideally we should get only one response. The same response. Why? We are getting the different response, but we have injected or registered this as a singleton. Why? And what if I injected this as a transient? What will happen in this case? Again, it should be because transients always create a new instance for your service. But if you observe here, if you heard that very consciously, I mentioned that for the class, each time it creates a new instance in the case of transient, or in the case of singleton, it once the first time it creates the instance, after that it share the same instance throughout your application lifetime. So but here you created the object of email service once in the case of singleton, but you are calling the random method each time when you are making a call to get email. That's why you are getting the different email or different number each time, although you have inserted this as a singleton. Are you getting that? Is my point clear? Yeah, that's why. And just is this clear now? Okay. So now let's try to handle one more scenario. Suppose I want to inject one more service here, like email client. Let me quickly define one email client, and I want the email from my or response from my client. Perfect, no issues. So what I will do, I'll use this, and I will use this as well, and let me create one directory for the clients, and here let me define my email client. Oh, oops, I have to rename this, and let me quickly define the namespace, which is, oh, sorry, this is our clients. Let me create one class called email client. Oh, yeah. So now let me create one method here, get email. What's wrong here? And let me quickly define one private read only string email is equal to new random dot next. This could be 10, and perfect. So far so good. And here I would like to return this email. We have this email client, and we have injected this in our email service. Okay, we have two Now here we have to use our email client dot get email method, and we have to define the namespace using the playground clients. Perfect. So now what will happen? Uh, m- for sure now if we run this application we will get the error because sorry, we haven't registered our email client into our IOC container. So let me run and show you. We get error or exception. Some services are not able to construct it. Perfect. So let me go here and here. Let me define here builder dot services dot add. How would you like to call it? As singleton? Okay, as singleton, and here I would like to call email client. Perfect. And now let me run this. Yep, run successfully and go here. We are getting the response as 0 because having defined, yeah, because we registered our email services, both the services as singleton. What if I make this transient? And what will be the behavior now? Would you like to make any guesses? Do we get anything else or the same? We make our email service as transient. Okay, let me side by side draw these all scenario. So I have this, remove this. Okay. So now I have this email service and here I have added one email client. And this is our transient, this is singleton. Transient, and this is registered as a singleton. Perfect. So far so good. So now whenever we are making a call, we are getting the responses to. How we are getting the responses to? Just understand. This is for the very first time when you start your application and you make a request. A brand new controller will be instantiated because you registered as a transient. Email service. Each time it will also be created or instantiated because transient. Email client. Now this is singleton. So on the first call, the first time you created or instantiated your email client, you got the response as 2. So whenever next time it is coming here to make a request, you are getting the response from here which is 2. Sorry. You are getting the response here is 2 because you have declared this as a singleton. Okay, what if I change this to transient? Okay, let me go here and do the changes. Perfect. Now each time we will get the new instance because we declared it as a transient. Perfect. Now it is obvious we'll get the dynamic. Perfect. But what if I make this to singleton? Let me remove this. We don't need this. Perfect. What will happen in this case? We have declared this as a singleton. So let me do here. Add this as a singleton. So what do you think? What would be the output? Suppose we start our application, we go here into the IOC container and it does some stuff, blah 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 blah, create a brand new controller for your instance, for your controller, and one time for your email service because singleton, and each time for your email client because it is registered as a transient. But what if I would say it will respond you now only the same response, continue until your application is running? क्रॉस चेक करें, चलो देखते हैं. Let me run here. Are you getting how this is happening? Because we registered our email client as a transient, and this is responsible for generating the numbers, generating or getting the emails. So why we are getting the same email each time? Because we have registered this as a transient. Now understand, like we registered this as a transient, but can you see the entire block is now registered as a singleton because the parent service, your email service, is registered as a singleton. So the first time when you create the object of your email client, you got 6. So your singleton has stored, your IOC container has stored the object of your email service with the response of email client as 6. So now you are not instantiating, yeah, this is a violation of your transient because on the parent you have wrapped this with the singleton. That's why you are, whenever you are making a request, you are getting the same response. So what if I change this to singleton as well? There will be no change. Same way you will get the same instance because now they both are singleton. Earlier the parent was singleton, now they both are singleton. Are you getting that? This is a not 6 now. Yeah. So I hope this goes very long. So we'll cover the scope in the next video. I hope you will get some idea of how the IOC container or DI container manage these dependencies behind the scene, and this all process is abstracted from you. You don't know how, but if you know this is good to have. This is the abstract knowledge, how it's working behind the scene. I hope you find this video useful. If you so, do like, hit the subscribe and press that bell notification for the latest updates. We'll continue this code in the next video. Till then, bye bye.